So, Miss Bear, our project is about the Battle of Okinawa. So, yeah, basically, it's one of the most intense and pivotal battles of the Second World War. It's the Battle of Okinawa, and then here you read this part.
It was the spring of 1945. The world had been at war for over 5 grueling years. In the Pacific, American forces had been slowly island hopping towards the Japanese mainland. Each step forward came at a staggering cost, and then came Okinawa, the largest amphibious assault in the Pacific theater. The island of Okinawa, just 340 miles from Japan's home islands, was seen as a vital stepping stone for a potential invasion of Japan. Capturing it would give Allied forces a crucial base of operations for air raids and staging efforts. But the Japanese knew this too, and they were prepared to defend it at all costs.
On April 1st, 1945, Easter Sunday, U.S. forces launched Operation Iceberg. Over 180,000 American troops, stormed the island, supported by one of the largest naval armadas in history. 1,300 ships, including 40 aircraft carriers, 18 battleships, and hundreds of support vessels. Surprisingly, the initial landing met little resistance, but this was by design. The Japanese commander, General Mitsuru Ushimija, had positioned his forces in the southern half of the island, taking advantage of the rough terrain and limestone ridges to build fortified layered defenses. Instead of a quick victory, American troops faced a brutal campaign of attrition. Japanese defenders fought from a vast network of caves and bunkers. In this environment, standard weapons often proved ineffective. That's where flamethrower tanks, modified Sherman tanks, equipped with napalm firing flamethrowers come into play. These fearsome machines became essential for flushing out enemy troops from fortified cave systems. They were devastatingly effective, but using them meant getting dangerously close to enemy lines, often under fire from concealed positions.
The fighting was relentless. Hills like Sugarloaf, Shuri Ridge, and Kakuzu became symbols of the grinding close-quarters combat that defined the battle. Soldiers faced mud, torrential rain, and the ever-present threat of ambush. The skies weren't safe either. Japanese kamikaze pilots launched over 1,500 suicide attacks against the Allied fleet. One of the most tragic losses came on April 6th when the aircraft carrier USS Bunker Hill was hit by 2 kamikazes, killing nearly 400 sailors. By the time the fighting ended on June 22, 1945, the cost was almost unimaginable. Over 12,500 American service members were killed, more than the combined deaths at Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal. Another 49,000 were wounded or missing. Japan's losses were staggering, estimates ranging from 77,000 to over 100,000 soldiers killed. With many refusing to surrender, some estimates go even higher, as thousands of Japanese troops died in the last-ditch suicidal charges or took their own lives. But it was the civilians who bore the worst of the suffering. Okinawan citizens caught between 2 armies suffered massively, somewhere between 100,000 and 150,000 civilians, up to the half of the island's pre-war population. Many were caught in the crossfire, while others died from starvation, disease, or were coerced into mass suicides by the Japanese military, who told them they'd face torture at the hands of the Americans.
The Battle of Okinawa was more than just a military engagement. It was a brutal crucible of modern warfare, a preview of what a full-scale invasion of Japan might have entailed. The bloodshed, the kamikaze waves, the widespread civilian loss, all of it had weighed heavily on Allied decision makers. Some historians argue that the horror of Okinawa directly influenced the decision to use the atomic bombs in an effort to end the war without invading Japan's home islands.
So that's a brief history, and now this is our reenactment.